Good morning, everyone. It's Datrina from the Alluring Bead Boutique, and today I'm going to be working on a redo of the Sweetheart Pearls bracelet that I did a long time ago when I first started doing my videos, and I've had a lot of requests to redo this video, so that's what we're going to do today. For the project, you'll need at least around 9, maybe more, maybe less, depending on the bracelet length you'll need, of some crystal rounds. I'm using these beautiful lime green with the AB finish, 8 millimeters. You're going to need somewhere in the range of 120 to 150 of 3 millimeter faux pearls. You'll need a clasp. I'll be using this jump ring and this soldered ring here. You're going to need a beading needle, and the smaller one that you can use, the better off you'll be. This is a size 11, and I'm using some .008 Wildfire white beading thread. So I've already got my needle threaded on, and we'll go ahead and just get started. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and pick up 4 of our little pearls here, thread those onto our thread. You can carry them down and just leave ourselves a tiny tail, a couple of inches just to hold on to. Then we're going to go right back through all 4 pearls and form a little right angle weave unit here. Pull that around like so. Then we're going to pass through the pearls again. Just 2 pearls should work for this, for the first part of this, first step of this. We're going to add our jump ring. So I'm going to go through 1 more pearl here. Actually, I'm going to go through 3. Go through 1 more. Like so. So my tail thread is exiting this pearl. My working thread is exiting the pearl at the top. So now we're going to add our jump ring. And to do that, we're going to pick up 4 pearls and add our soldered ring or jump ring to our needle. We'll let that fall down off the needle. I'm going to flip my work over so I'm working in the other direction. I'm exiting this top pearl to the right. So I'm going to take my needle and come back through that pearl from left to right and pull that through. So that when I do, my jump ring is situated in this grouping of pearls. So now I want to reinforce this little section. And each time that I reinforce, I'm going to make sure that I pass through not only each of the pearls, but also through that ring, and I don't skip over it where I would have exposed thread. So here I'm coming through the first 2 pearls and the ring. I'm going to come through the next 2 pearls plus the pearl on the right angle weave unit at the base. Just like that. Now pull it all nice and snug. And then just to secure that one more time, I'm going to pass through all those 4 pearls, the 5 pearls actually, counting the one on the base, and the ring. So there's 2 pearls. As I come through these next few pearls, I'm going to make sure that I go through the center of my ring. And then I'm going to come back through the pearl that's on the right angle weave unit here at the base. So here's what our clasp bend looks like. And here's the right angle weave unit we started from. So now I'm exiting this pearl and the crossover pearl between the 2 sections. I'm going to come down the pearl on the side of that right angle weave unit. Then I'm going to go ahead and tie a knot between these 2 little threads right here. I'm going to take 2 overhand knots, making sure that my knot falls in between the 2 pearls that my working thread and tail thread are situated between. Just like that. Now I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through that bead at the bottom. When I pull, I'm going to pop that little knot inside the pearl, just like that. And I'm going to end my tail thread. So now we're ready to move on. And what we're going to do first is we're going to put one of our crystals at the center of this bead. And when we're finished, it'll also be centered between this bead. So we're going to pick up, we're exiting to the right of this pearl here on the right angle weave unit. Go ahead and pick up a crystal and a pearl. Let those drop to the beadwork. We're going to skip over the pearl and come down through just the crystal so that when we pull, the little pearl sits on top of our crystal round, like so. We were coming out to the right of that pearl, so we're going to take our needle and go back through that pearl from left to right. And that puts a thread coming out of our crystal on each side of the little pearl, and it centers the crystal above the pearl like that. So now, I'm not sure if I mentioned in the other video, but we're going to be creating a loop of beads around each side between this pearl and this pearl of our larger crystal. And if you don't, this pattern can be easily adjusted to any size center bead just by changing, the amount of beads you need to surround it. That's basically so you can use any kind of beads you want in this project. You could use 8OC beads, 6OC beads, or little 2mm rounds, 3mm rounds. I wouldn't suggest going any higher than that. But now what we're going to do is we're going to let these drop down so we can determine the exact amount that we need between the two pearls. So I added 4, and if I pull my thread around like this, you can see that I need one more in there or I'm going to have a gap. So I'm going to pick up that 5th pearl. I'm going to come through this pearl at the top. Since I'm on the left-hand side, I'm going to come through this pearl from left to right. Just like this. And I'm going to pull those through and situate my little pearls here on the side of my crystal like so. So now we're going to go ahead and create our next connection point here while we're at the top of our little crystal section here. We're coming out of this pearl at the top. I'm going to pick up 3 pearls and come right back through that pearl from left to right and add my right angle weave unit. And what that does is it goes ahead and it adds some security to the thread that's containing the 5 pearls over here so that it's not slipping and moving around as I add my last pearls down this side. So you can see I've created this cute little right angle weave unit here at the top. And that's going to be the connector in between my next set of crystal and embellishment pearls. So now I'm coming out of this pearl to the right. I can pick up the 5 ones that I need to go down the other side of my crystal. So now I've picked up my next 5 pearls onto my needle. I had started with coming out of this pearl here on the base, my very first right angle weave unit. So I'm just going to take my needle and pass right back through that pearl from the opposite side. So I'll be going right to left this time. And as I pull my beads into position, you have this cute little set of pearls around my crystal like so. Now I've got to work my way back up to this unit at the top. So all I have to do is take my needle and pass through the pearls on the left-hand side one more time, making sure that you don't skip any. And come back through that pearl at the top of the crystal. Now, if you feel like your bead works loose, you can work back through one more time. Like I feel like this is poking out just a little bit. So I'm going to come down these pearls on the right one more time just to add another thread in there. Tighten everything up to where it looks a little more uniform. get through this pearl at the bottom. And that looks a little more professional, looks a lot better. So I'm satisfied with that. So I'll work back up these side beads, because now I need to get into this unit here at the top. Take your time, because you won't be able to pass through too many of these pearls on a curve at one time. So I've worked my way back around, and I'm coming out of the pearl at the bottom of my little right angle weave unit. So I'm going to flip my work. And I need to be into that top bead. So I'm going to come up the bead on the left. You don't have to flip your work. I just do that because I'm left-handed. And now I'm ready to pass through this bead at the top. And we're ready to add our next crystal. So we'll just go ahead and pick up the crystal and one pearl, just like we did previously. I'm going to let that come down to our bead work. We're going to skip over the pearl and just come back through the crystal and pull our thread. So now my first thread is attached out of the crystal here on the right. So I need one on the left, so I'll come through that pearl once again from left to right. And when I pull, that should stand my crystal up nice and straight. Just like that. I'm going to flip this around. And I'm going to pick up my first 5 pearls. They're a little bit hard to pick up because they have a really small hole. So I've got my 5 pearls on. I need to come through this pearl at the top from left to right because I flipped my work again. Pull those into position. We're going to pick up 3 and create the little right angle weave unit. It just helps hold our thread into place. So I've picked up 3. I'm coming out to the right. I'm going to go back through that pearl from left to right. And I'm going to go ahead and pull on my working thread and pinch it with my fingers and hold it. And just make sure that my first 5 little pearls I put on stay nice and snug up against the crystal like that. So now I've come back through and I've added this little right angle weave unit here. So now we're going to pick up our next 5 pearls. Let me fix my situation a little bit. I've got my 5 pearls on. I just simply need to come through this pearl at the bottom of my crystal from the opposite side here. And I accidentally went through one of my pearls, but that's okay because we're going to reinforce anyway. So you can see I came through this pearl at the base plus 1. So now I can just go up through the other 4 on this side here. Pull nice and snug, give it a tug. Gonna come through the next few. I made it through the one at the top of the crystal. You notice when I pull, I try to pull in the way I'm going, but I also pull towards the crystal in the center. And that just makes everything snug in a lot better to actually butt up against the crystal. I'm going to work through the right hand side one more time. And made it through all of my side pearls. I did not make it through this one here at the base of my crystal, so I'll have to get in there, move across. sure to position my thread over here so that it doesn't cause an exposed thread on the back side of the beadwork. We're going to come up this side one more time. And we're going to stop when we pass through this pearl here at the top of the crystal, which is the bottom bead of that little right angle weave unit. And everything's looking really pretty. So once again, we'll just move up into the right angle weave unit, which is connects our two units with the crystals. So come up the side bead and across the top bead. So I'm going to show you one more time, and then I'm going to let you guys go ahead and work on the length of the bracelet, because this is all you're going to do to add the length. So we were reinforced and we're coming out of the top bead of our connection right angle weave unit. I've picked up my next crystal and my next pearl and dropped them down. I'm going to skip that pearl and come back through the crystal towards my beadwork. And I wanted to show you, if your bead slips like this and you wind up with this long piece of thread in between, all you have to do is lay your beadwork down, grab a hold of your pearl, take your working thread, and just pull it gently, and that'll pull it right back down next to the beadwork like that. So our thread coming out of the crystal is situated here on the right hand side of our top bead. So we need the thread on the left, so we know we need to come back through from left to right. And when we pull, it straightens our crystal up right in that beautiful line. So now we're going to add our first 5 pearls. And I apologize that they are so hard to pick up that it takes a little time for me to get them actually up onto my needle. But they're so pretty to work with, these little small pearls. That they're worth the aggravation of how hard they are to pick up. So there's the 5. I'm going to let them fall off of my needle, and I'm just going to take my needle and come through the pearl at the top from left to right, because that's where my working thread is on the left, so I know I need to go from left to right. Pull them in. Make my next right angle weave unit by picking up 3 pearls. Well, I'm going to let those fall off my needle so I can have my fingers free to grip my thread tight. Coming out to the right of the pearl at the top of the crystal, I go right back through it from left to right one more time to make the right angle weave. You notice I'm gripping the beads in the thread nice and snug so that the 5 beads on the left don't loosen up. So now I can pick up the next 5. And folks, these are just little Chinese pearls or off-brand pearls. They're not Swarovskis, but you could use Swarovski. That would be fine, or Preciosa pearls. That would actually be better if you can afford them and if you can have access to them. So I've picked up my 5. I'm coming through the pearl at the bottom of my new crystal. And now I'm just going to sew back through all of those pearls again and tighten everything up and pull those pearls in close to my crystal like that, so that everything has a nice, pretty polished look, pretty professional. Sew down the ones on the right one more time. And I did not take this extra step of sewing down the ones on the right in the initial video, but now that I've been beading a lot longer, I have decided that this actually is worth taking this extra step. So pull all the way through, making sure that you don't skip any beads. And we're going to come up the beads on the left and get back into our right angle weave unit at the top. And then we'll talk about getting the length right and where to stop so that we can add the clasp at our other end. So now I'm going to the bottom purl of my right angle weave unit, which is this one sitting here at the top of the crystal, just like we've been doing the whole time. So once we've got everything situated, make sure your work looks good. I feel like this crystal is a little bit smaller than the two here, and it kind of is, but I'm going to leave it because I don't want to try to undo all of that thread. So I've come up the bead on the left hand side, going across the bead at the top, and I'm in position to pick up my next crystal just like that. Alright, so now that we've got a couple of our units done here, let's go ahead and talk about how to determine the length of your bracelet. So I got my ruler out, and here's my beadwork. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start measuring, not at the end of this bracelet. I'm going to measure starting at this purl here on the right angle weave unit, the very first right angle weave unit. So I'm going to take that and lay that purl down on my ruler. And I'm going to measure up into this purl here at the top of the crystal. And each one of those little units is right exactly about 3/4 of an inch long. So if each unit is 3/4 of an inch long and I need a 7-inch bracelet, I would simply divide 7 by 0.75. And that lets me know how many of these crystals plus one right angle weave unit that I need in order to have a 7-inch bracelet. And I would need approximately 9.3, which you would round that down to 9, because basically you're going to have a little extra length where you're adding your lobster claw and your jump ring. So that would even out right exactly to about 7 inches if you create 9 of these units, and then make sure to add this right angle weave unit as you add your last crystal, your ninth crystal. You will want this right angle weave unit at the top, just like it is right here. It will look just like this on the end before you're ready to add the lobster claw. So go ahead and add however many units you need. Figure the length of your bracelet, which if it's 7, be it 6, be it 9, whatever, divide that by 0.75, and that will give you the number of units you need to create your bracelet. So once you've added all of the units, and you've created this last right angle weave unit at the end of your bracelet, and you have the length that you need, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add the lobster claw. And basically we're just going to do exactly the same thing we did when we added the jump ring. I'm not going to go ahead and finish this. I'm just going to end this as a little tiny baby bracelet. So what we'll do in order to do that, we're going to pick up 4 of our pearls again, but this time we're going to pick up 2. Then we're going to add our lobster claw. Then we'll pick up 2 more. Now, if your lobster claw happened to have a jump ring on it, you could pick the jump ring up whichever time you wanted to. This particular one has the loop on the end like so, and I'm just going to use that loop. So I have to add it in between the 4 pearls. So I pick up 2, the lobster claw, and then 2. Let them slide off my needle. I'm going to flip this over because I like working towards the right. I'm coming out of the left of that pearl at the top of the right angle weave unit. So I just go right back through it from left to right. And when I pull it through, it attaches my lobster claw so that it looks identical to how I added my jump ring. So then you would just want to reinforce this 2 or 3 times and make sure to go through all of your pearls. So I'll be coming up the 2 here on the left because I flipped my work, I'm going to come through my lobster claw again, making sure not to skip that. We'll come down the 2 here on the right and back through this one on the base. So I'm coming through 3. And I'm going to pull that all the way through. And just adjust my beadwork a little bit so that it looks pretty and everything looks nice and uniform. Then I'm going to do this all again. So I'm come through the 2 on the left. This time I'm going to come through the lobster claw. I'm going to come down just through the 2 on the right before I pass through the 1 in the center. And that helps my little loop of beads to maintain their shape. So that's twice I've been through the beadwork. And because it's the clasp section, if your needle and thread will allow you to get through that 3rd time, I strongly suggest that you go through the 3rd time. That way you have a lot of reinforcement there where your bracelet will take the most wear and tear. So now it's time to end the thread. And you have options, as always, with bead weaving, whether you want to just weave your thread through or whether you want to tie a series of half-hitch knots to strongly secure the thread. So I'm exiting from this bead right here at the top of the right angle weave unit right here. I'm going to come down the 1 bead here on the left. Then I'm going to flip my work around on the side a little bit so you can see better what I'm doing. I'm going to tie a half-hitch knot right here between this pearl on the side and this pearl on the base. I'm a little bit having a little problem with glare. Move my lights just a little bit. Okay, so I want to tie a half-hitch knot between these pearls here and here, this one on the base. So I'm going to take my needle and come under those threads right there between those 2 pearls, and I'm going to pull nice and slow. Well, first I got to get it untangled off of my bracelet. I'm going to pull this nice and slow and form a small loop right here with my working thread. And so here's my little loop of thread sitting between this pearl and the pearl sitting above that crystal below it. I've got my little loop of thread made right here. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to pass through that. And as I pull, I'm going to pull it slowly. So that I want to make sure that that little loop, as I pull it tight, comes down between those same 2 pearls where I stuck my needle under, just like that. So there's 1 half-hitch knot. So now I'm going to come through this pearl here on the crystal. And that's going to put me on the opposite side of my beadwork. So I could tie a knot right here and then come down through these beads on the side. So let's go ahead and do that. So now we're on this side of the crystal, or the pearl on the base. I'm going to take my needle and come underneath the beadwork. And I'm going to come back through it, pull slowly till you have a little loop. I'm going to put my needle through that loop. And I'm going to pull slowly again. Because now where I want my knot to fall is between this pearl right here on the base and this next pearl over here on the first one of the 5 on the side. So I'm going to take my fingernails and hold it in there as I pull nice and tight to get that little knot to situate right between those 2 pearls. Then I'm going to work my way down through these pearls on the right. Let me turn it this way. And I'm going to work all the way down through the 5 pearls. There on the right hand side, making sure I don't skip any. It would be a real shame to have a exposed thread at this point. So now my thread is sitting between the 5th pearl and the one on the right angle weave below. I'm going to tie one more knot right there, so I'm coming under the thread between those 2 pearls. I'm going to pull till I have my loop, and you can position this thing. It doesn't, because you're coming under the beadwork, it can be maneuvered. So I'm going to pull nice and slow as I hold it with my fingernails. See how I'm holding it? Then I'm going to come through that loop, my working thread. And when I get close, I'm going to position the thread and make sure it's still between those same 2 pearls that I'm working with as I pull it nice and snug. Then I want to come through that pearl at the base, right there. Don't ever cut your thread right beside your knot. Always make sure you move through 1 or 2 beads before ending your thread. So that was 3 half-hitch knots. You can work down through this right angle weave unit here, tie a couple more if you'd like, just to add some extra security to your piece. And once you're done with that, pass through a bead or 2 and then cut your thread and end your project, just like that. So that's just a little example. I didn't make the whole bracelet, but anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, the redo of the Sweetheart Pearl. I will take a look at the earrings and the ring videos and see what I think about those. Basically, it's the same concept as the bracelet for both of those projects. Alright guys, that's it for today. I hope you like this redo. Make sure you click like, subscribe to my channel. Jump on over to the Bead Mat website. That's brand new, way new compared to how old this video is. And follow me on my social media. You guys have a great day, and thanks for watching.